Hi everyone, welcome to the Setup and Installation lecture. So the objectives for this lecture are to install Python with Anaconda, download the zip file of notebooks that comes with this course, and then to open Jupyter and explore the notebooks and make sure everything is working for you. So just right off the bat, what is Anaconda? Anaconda is a distribution of Python. When we say distribution, that means it's actually not just including Python, but it's also including lots of libraries and tools that we use in this course. And it also includes its own virtual environment system, which we talk about later on in this course. It's essentially an all-in-one install that's extremely popular in data science and machine learning. So if you ever take any other training in data science and machine learning, such as a corporate training, it's highly likely that they'll also ask you to install Anaconda. So it's extremely popular in data science and machine learning, which is why we're using it in this course. So once we install Anaconda and get Python up and running, it's actually going to come with a development environment called Jupyter. And Jupyter is a development environment where we can write normal Python code, but what's really cool about it is it also allows us to display images and then write down markdown notes all within the same notebook. So it's a really great learning tool, and it's a great teaching tool as well, which is why I use it throughout this course. And it's also one of the most popular development environments in data science for exploring and analyzing data. And as you learn more and more about the course and the libraries, then you'll see why it's such a popular tool, because you get to see everything on a single screen. You get to see the images, your data, the sheets, etc., all in one window. Now, I want to make it clear, if you're an experienced Python user and maybe you've tried Jupyter but really didn't like it, you have your own setup like Sublime Text or PyCharm or any other sort of environment, please feel free to use any development environment you prefer. Sometimes some students just don't like Jupyter and they like their own thing. That's totally fine. We're not forcing you to use Jupyter. The Python code we're going to show throughout the course works in any environment. So I just want to be clear, please choose any development environment you prefer. But if you're totally new to this, I would highly recommend you go with the Anaconda and Jupyter setup we show here. That way you can follow along with this course, and I hope you learn to love it as much as I do. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to download Anaconda. Go ahead and go to www.anaconda.com or just simply Google search Anaconda Python download, and we should end up at the same page. I'm going to go ahead and jump to anaconda.com in my browser now. All right, here I am at anaconda.com. Keep in mind, anaconda.com, this page actually updates itself quite frequently, so the style may change and you may see different things. For example, right now, they're going to have an AnacondaCon, so the style of the page looks a little different, and the buttons may be, or the overall look of the page may be different for you when you actually visit this. But essentially what we're looking for is the download section. And you'll see some products here, why Anaconda, but somewhere on this page, you should see download. And if you're having trouble finding that, you can just go ahead and Google search Anaconda download, and it should eventually take you to this page. So what we see here is the downloads for Python 3 and Python 2. This course uses the latest version of Python 3, so we'll go ahead and use that for our installer. The one thing you need to make sure is that you select the correct installer for your operating system. So right now, I'm on a Windows computer, so I will choose the Windows installer for Anaconda. Now, if you're on Mac OS, go ahead and choose the Mac OS installer. If you're on Linux, go ahead and choose the Linux installer. Something you should note out is for Mac OS, there's a graphical installer and then a command line installer. The graphical installer is a lot easier to use. It basically has a little window that pops up and tells you what to do as you go along. So I would recommend the graphical installer. So I'll go ahead and, since I'm on a Windows computer, download the Windows installer for the Python 3 version. If you're watching this at some point in the future and Python 3.8 has come out, that's totally okay too. Basically, just be using Python 3. All right, once that's finished downloading, we'll go ahead and open up this executable file. If you're on Mac OS, it's going to probably be some DMG file or something that essentially walks you through the graphical installer. So we'll go ahead and open that up. And then you should see essentially the setup wizard jump out for you. So we'll go ahead and click next here. And then there's a license agreement. Go ahead and agree to it. And then there's the install for just me and all users. If you're on a work computer, you probably don't have admin privileges. So we'll just go ahead and install it for just me. Essentially, that means you have to log into your user account and it'll only work for this particular user account. So go ahead and click next. Go ahead and choose the default location for the destination folder. And then if you're on a Windows computer, you'll see this option for advanced installation options. And you should actually check both of these boxes. One of them says that it's actually not recommended of adding Anaconda to your path environment variable. The reason they say that's not recommended is because if you have different versions of Python, that may mess around and make Anaconda the essentially default version of Python on your computer, and also the default way of running certain actions at your command line. I actually do recommend that, especially if you're already have a previous installation of Python. Now, if you're an advanced user and you understand what it means to set a path environment variable, I'll leave it up to you whether or not you want to add Anaconda to your path. However, if you're brand new and you don't know what adding something to your path environment variable means, then definitely go ahead and select this. Even if it says not recommended, go ahead and check both boxes. That's going to allow you to create virtual environments at the command line, which is very useful. So then, once you've done that, go ahead and select install. All right, now that that has finished installing, we should be able to search for the Anaconda Navigator on our computer. If you begin searching for Anaconda on your computer, you should see a couple of options show up. One is the Anaconda prompt, and the other is the Anaconda Navigator. Go ahead and click open the Anaconda Navigator. Upon the Anaconda Navigator opening, you should see a bunch of applications show up. And essentially, this is a really convenient way of opening up your development environments. And you'll notice that Anaconda actually comes with several development environments already included. It comes with Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Spider, Qt Console, and more. The one we're going to be using in this course is the Jupyter Notebook. Keep in mind there's a Jupyter Lab, which looks really similar, but we'll actually be using a Jupyter Notebook. And as I keep mentioning, you're free to use any development environment you choose. But we'll be using Jupyter Notebook. So what we want to do is go ahead and launch Jupyter Notebook. So click here where it says launch. And then what's going to happen is you should see a browser window pop up. And here we can see that Jupyter Notebook has automatically opened up in your browser. Now, if you don't have Google Chrome as your default browser, I would highly recommend you do use it because that is usually what works best with Jupyter. Don't use an older browser like Internet Explorer. Microsoft Edge should be fine, but Internet Explorer, that's actually not even supported by Microsoft anymore. So I would highly recommend using Google Chrome for the Jupyter. You can also use things like Firefox and Mozilla. Those should technically all work fine as well. Okay, so you notice that Jupyter opens in your browser. Something I want to clarify is that you do not need to be connected to the internet in order for Jupyter to work. It's merely using your browser as a graphical interface window. It's not actually connecting to the internet here. So you'll notice that I basically see all the folders that are on my computer. I can see my desktop folders, my documents, and my downloads. So what I want to do is download the zip file of notebooks that comes along with this course and then access them through Jupyter. So let's go ahead and download that zip file. Okay, so if you go to the actual course content page, you'll see the curriculum laid out, and you should notice under section 1, course introduction, in the third lecture, course FAQs, there's a zip file here that you can download. And as you were reading that lecture, you should have seen a little resource article point out that there's a resource there to download. Now keep in mind, if you're viewing a lecture video, so for example here, I'm viewing essentially our intro, environment setup, and installation lecture. If you click over here on the top left, it should also be an indication that resources can be downloaded, and you can then see the course content and click on this zip file and it will download the zip file. So go ahead and download the zip file either from course FAQs, and I've placed the zip file in a couple of other lectures in case you missed it, including this one and the Jupyter Notebooks lecture. It's the same zip file, it's just there for you to download. And go ahead and download it, and remember where you downloaded it, and then unzip that file. So right now, my version is underneath my downloads folder, so I'm going to go unzip it. All right, so underneath my downloads folder, I'll go ahead and unzip this. You should be able to see extract all, or if you can download a program like WinRAR or 7-zip, go ahead and do that. Really just any way, whatever the typical method you use for unzipping folders, go ahead and do that. Windows and Mac OS have a default, so go ahead and just extract everything and unzip it. So let that unzip. And then once that's unzipped, you should see a folder here and you'll see something that says refactored. Go ahead and click on that and you'll see all the course notes organized in order that they are in the course. And if you then double click on these, you'll see a bunch of files called IPYNB files. Now the thing about these files, if you were to try to double click on them and open them directly, that wouldn't work. They actually need to be opened directly through the Jupyter Notebook system. So now that we know that our unzipped folder is underneath downloads, we're going to go back to our browser where we had the Jupyter Notebook and open the files that way. So let me go ahead and jump back to that. So here I am back at Jupyter Notebook. Go ahead and find your downloads folder. and then find the folder PyDSML Bootcamp Master, go to the refactored, and then you'll see all the files here. And the first ones we're going to be going over, they're all in order, is Python Crash Course. And then these notebooks, you simply click on them, and then once there's done loading, you can see all the information here. And later on, we'll talk more details about how you can actually run the Jupyter notebooks. Keep in mind that previously when I was filming this course, we didn't have it organized in a numerical fashion like this. We just had it organized by general topic, but now we've reorganized and refactored the actual notebooks and folders so that it's a lot clearer. You do 1 first, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and so on. Okay, so that's basically it for our setup. You should now be able to run Jupyter Notebook, and you should have installed Anaconda and then downloaded the notes and follow along. Please keep in mind that if you're ever getting an error with trying to follow along with the video, try running our notebooks first, specifically our solutions notebook for the exercise. A lot of times it's easy to make a simple typo, which is why we provide the notebooks that go along with each video lecture to help you out with any problems of that type. Okay, thanks everyone, and we'll see you at the next lecture.